Have you ever stopped to think about why, suddenly, some people simply disappeared from your life? It wasn't a coincidence. It wasn't by chance. What if I told you that the universe is doing a deep cleansing of your path, removing exactly those people who shouldn't be by your side anymore? Well, Taurus, this isn't your imagination. Something much bigger is happening, and you need to understand what's behind this transformation that's shaking up your life right now. Look, I know it can be painful to realize that certain friendships have cooled, that some relationships have ended, that the person you trusted so much simply drifted away without much explanation. But listen carefully to what I'm going to tell you. The universe doesn't remove people from your life to make you suffer. It removes them because it's preparing you for something infinitely better, something that these people could never keep up with or understand. And most importantly, if you don't understand this process now, you might end up holding on to those who need to leave and blocking the blessings that are on their way. You are a Taurus, and I know very well that loyalty runs in your veins like blood. You don't let go of people easily. You cling, you build deep roots, you value the connections that take years to build. But a moment has come when the attachment that has always been your strength may be turning into a prison. And the cosmos has noticed this. That's why it's intervening so clearly, so directly, so impossible to ignore. In this video, you'll discover 10 reasons why the universe is removing people from your path right now. You'll understand what this means for your spiritual journey, why letting go is crucial, and how this cosmic cleansing is opening space for abundance, true love, and connections that will elevate your life to a whole new level. If you stay until the end, you'll have such clarity about what's happening that you'll never question again when someone leaves your life. So take a deep breath, open your heart, and let's dive into this transformative truth together. Reason 1. These people were draining your vital energy. Let me ask you a very direct question. How many times have you finished a conversation with a certain person and felt profoundly exhausted, as if you had carried an enormous weight on your shoulders? How many times have you offered your energy, your time, your attention, and received absolutely nothing in return, except more problems, more drama, more negativity? Well then, Taurus, the universe saw that and decided that's enough. What many people don't understand is that energy is a precious resource. You don't have infinite energy to waste on those who only know how to drain you, complain, and bring problem after problem without ever seeking any solutions. These people are called energy vampires, and they have a special talent for identifying someone generous, patient, and willing to help, like you. They get close, create bonds, and little by little they drain everything good you have to offer. The problem is that you, being a Taurus, have a very protective and loyal nature. When you connect with someone, you don't give up easily. You believe that people can change, that things can get better, that you just need to be patient enough. But there's a huge difference between being loyal and being a doormat. There's a difference between helping someone who is truly striving to grow and being used by someone who just wants a shoulder to cry on to unload all the toxicity they carry inside. And the universe realized you were crossing that line. You were giving so much of yourself to people who didn't deserve it, who didn't value it, who didn't even recognize the sacrifice you were making. Your light was being dimmed by the shadow of these people. Your vibration was being pulled down. And while you were busy trying to save those who didn't want to be saved, you were losing yourself in the process. Then the cosmos acted. Suddenly, that person who always sought you out to vent disappeared. That friend who only showed up when they needed something drifted away. That relationship where you gave 80% and received 20% came to an end. And maybe you felt guilty. Maybe you wondered if you did something wrong, if you could have done things differently. But listen, you didn't do anything wrong. The universe simply corrected an imbalance that was harming you. Now that those people are out of your way, you'll start to feel something wonderful. More energy, more motivation, more mental clarity. You'll wake up without that weight, without that feeling of carrying other people's problems on your shoulders. You'll realize you have time to take care of yourself, to invest in your dreams, to nurture your own soul. And that energy that was previously wasted will be redirected to where it really matters. To you, to your goals, to the people who truly deserve your presence. Reason 2. They were hindering their spiritual growth. Taurus, you are going through a profound spiritual transformation. Perhaps you haven't fully realized it yet, but your soul is evolving. You are awakening to a more conscious, more enlightened version, more connected to the greater purpose of your existence. And in this growth process, some people simply can't keep up. Not because they are bad, but because they are on a completely different frequency than yours. Think about it. When you start questioning things you've always accepted without thinking, when you begin to seek a deeper meaning in life, when you start to become interested in spirituality, personal development, self-knowledge, you naturally begin to see the world in a different way. You stop being content with shallow conversations, meaningless gossip, constant complaints about things that have no solution. You seek more authentic connections, deeper dialogues, people who are also seeking evolution. But not everyone is on that path. Some people are comfortable exactly where they are. They don't want to grow, they don't want to change, they don't want to leave their comfort zone. And when you start to evolve, these people feel threatened. They realize that you are no longer the same, that you no longer fit the old patterns, that you no longer accept the same things as before. And instead of celebrating your evolution, they try to pull you back to where you were. Perhaps you've heard phrases like, "You've changed, you're not fun anymore. You've become weird, you think you're better than everyone else." These words hurt, especially when they come from people you love. But understand one thing. When someone criticizes you for evolving, the problem isn't with you. The problem lies in that person's insecurity at realizing they're falling behind while you're moving forward. The universe couldn't allow you to remain trapped in that kind of relationship. Because every time you went back to please those people, every time you dimmed your light so as not to overshadow anyone, every time you pretended to be someone you weren't just to keep the peace, you were betraying your own soul. You were choosing the approval of others over your own truth. And that's not acceptable for someone destined for great things like you. Therefore, the cosmos created situations that naturally distance these people. Fights that seemed to arise out of nowhere. Misunderstandings that made no sense. Distances that happen without a clear explanation. All of this was orchestrated to free you from connections that were keeping you small, limited, trapped in an old version of yourself that no longer exists. And now with this empty space, you have the opportunity to attract people who are on the same wavelength as you. People who will inspire you, challenge you, and support you on this journey of growth. People who will celebrate each of your achievements, each evolution, each step you take towards becoming the best version of yourself. The universe doesn't remove people to leave you alone. It removes them to make room for what truly resonates with who you are becoming. Reason 3. They didn't believe in their potential. Do you know that person who always doubted you? Who always discouraged you when you talked about your dreams? Who always found 1,000 reasons for you not to try, not to take risks, not to believe you were capable? Well, Taurus, the universe removed that person from your path because they were acting as a brake on your life. And you need momentum, not brakes. You have enormous potential within you. Talents that haven't even been fully discovered yet. Abilities that are waiting for the chance to manifest. Dreams that seem impossible but are absolutely within your reach. But to achieve all this, you need faith. You need to believe in yourself with unwavering strength. And when you have people around you who constantly plant doubt in your mind, who constantly remind you of your past failures, who constantly tell you that you're not good enough, smart enough, qualified enough, it becomes almost impossible to keep that faith alive. The worst part is that many times these people don't even do it out of malice. They genuinely believe they are protecting you, sparing you from disappointment, keeping you grounded. But what they don't understand is that you don't need protection. You need encouragement. You don't need realism. You need someone who looks you in the eye and says, "I believe in you, I know you are capable. I will be here supporting every step you take." And the universe knows this. It knows you're about to enter a phase of life where you'll need all the courage, all the determination, all the confidence you can muster. You'll face challenges. You'll need to make difficult decisions. You'll need to take leaps of faith. And if you have people around you who don't believe in you, who always remind you of the risks, who always hold you back, you won't succeed. That's why those people were removed. Not to punish you but to strengthen you. Because now you need to learn to be your own source of validation. You need to learn to believe in yourself regardless of the opinions of others. You need to develop such solid self-confidence that nothing and no one can shake it. The day will come very soon when you'll look back and be grateful that those people left your life when they did. Because you'll be in such a high place, achieving such incredible things, living such an abundant reality, that you'll realize you never would have gotten there if you were still surrounded by those who didn't believe in your potential. The universe has freed you from a burden. Now it's up to you to use that freedom to fly. Before we continue, I want to make a special request. If this message is touching your heart, if you feel these words were written specifically for you, then please subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell. That way you won't miss any content that can transform your life. And leave a comment below telling me where you're watching from. I love knowing that these messages are reaching Taurus men and women all over the world. If the content of this channel has made a difference in your journey, consider becoming a supporter and subscriber. Your contribution helps me continue bringing you these messages that the universe wants you to hear. Let's continue. Reason 4. They represented connections from the past that no longer serve your future. Taurus, there's a truth that many people have difficulty accepting. Not everyone who begins a journey with you is destined to finish that journey by your side. Some people enter your life to teach a specific lesson, to support you through a specific phase, to fulfill a specific purpose. And when that purpose is fulfilled, their presence no longer makes sense. The big problem is that you, being a Taurus, have a natural tendency to cling to things and people. You value shared history, memories built together, moments lived side by side. And because of this, you insist on maintaining relationships that have already served their purpose simply because you can't accept that it's time to let go. But insisting on keeping someone who should have already left is like trying to plant flowers in infertile soil. You can water them, you can fertilize them, you can do everything right, but nothing will grow. Think about the phases of your life. You're no longer the person you were 5 years ago. You've grown, matured, your priorities have changed, your values have evolved, your dreams have transformed. It's natural and healthy for the people around you to reflect this evolution as well. But if you continue to be surrounded by the same people as always, people who still see you as you were in the past, you end up being constantly pulled back, constantly reminded of who you were instead of who you are becoming. The universe understands that you need space to create a new identity. You need the freedom to explore who you are now, without the expectations and projections of those who knew you in a previous version. Therefore, it's removing those old connections that, however beautiful they may have been, no longer fit into the life you are building. Maybe it's that childhood friend with whom you no longer have anything in common besides memories. Maybe it's that group of people you used to hang out with that now makes you feel out of place, as if you no longer belong there. Maybe it's even a romantic relationship that was wonderful at one time, but now only brings weight, only brings limitations, only brings the feeling that you're stuck in a place you should have left behind long ago. And I know it's difficult. I know it hurts to look at someone who was important and acknowledge that they're no longer. I know guilt creeps in, a feeling that you're being ungrateful, that you're abandoning someone who was with you during difficult times. But understand, recognizing that a cycle has ended doesn't negate the value that person had in your life. You can be grateful for what you experienced together, and still understand that your paths have diverged. One thing doesn't exclude the other. The future the universe is preparing for you demands lightness. It demands that you be free from emotional commitments that no longer make sense. It demands that you have space in your life to receive the right people, those who will walk with you from now on, those who will be part of your future story, not just your past story. Trust the process. Letting go is not losing. Letting go is opening space to gain. Reason 5. They were blocking the arrival of better people. Imagine your life as a house with a limited number of rooms. Each room represents a space for intimacy, for togetherness, for the exchange of energy. Now imagine that all these rooms are occupied by people who don't value being there, who don't contribute anything positive, who only take up space. How will new, incredible people aligned with you enter if there's no room for them? Well, Taurus, the universe needed to empty some rooms. It needed to do a general cleaning of your life so that the right people could finally arrive. You need to understand a fundamental principle of the law of attraction. You can only attract what you have space to receive. If your life is full of mediocre relationships, superficial friendships, people who are there out of convenience or habit, you are sending a signal to the universe that you don't have room for anything else. And the universe respects that. It won't force blessings to enter where there is no space. But when you let go, when you allow yourself to detach from those who should no longer be there, you create a vacuum. And nature hates vacuums. This empty space that seems frightening at first, that seems like loneliness, that seems like loss, is actually a magnificent opportunity. It's an open door for something infinitely better to enter your life. Do you know those people you dream of connecting with? Those deep, true, reciprocal relationships, full of mutual support and shared growth? They exist. They're out there. But they can't reach you if you're energetically committed to people who don't deserve your time and energy. It's like being in a relationship that doesn't make you happy, and complaining that you don't know anyone interesting. Well, the universe isn't going to put someone interesting in your path, while you're stuck where you shouldn't be. The same applies to friendships, professional partnerships, any kind of human connection. The cosmos is doing this cleansing precisely to prepare you to meet people who will revolutionize your life. People who will truly inspire you. People who will challenge you to be better. People who will support you unconditionally. People who will celebrate your victories as if they were their own. People who will be by your side in difficult times without judging you, without abandoning you, without making you feel like a burden. These people exist, and they are on their way. But you need to trust the universe's timing. You need to have patience to get through this transition period where it may seem like you are alone, that you have lost everyone, that you are left with no one. This emptiness is temporary. It is necessary. It is preparing you to receive connections so beautiful, so true, so profound, that you will look back and be grateful for every person who left. So, instead of clinging to those who are leaving, instead of trying to hold on to what's already over, open your arms. Open your heart. Make space. And watch with gratitude as the universe fills your life with people who truly deserve to be in it. Reason 6. They weren't celebrating their victories sincerely. Taurus, pay attention to this because it's very important. Genuine people truly rejoice in your achievements. They don't feel envious. They don't diminish what you've accomplished. They don't find a way to make your victory seem small or unimportant. They celebrate with you genuinely as if the victory were theirs too. But not everyone can do that. Some people can't stand to see you shine. Some people would prefer you to stay at the same level as them, struggling with the same difficulties, complaining about the same problems. Because while you're down there with them, they feel safe. They feel accompanied. But when you start to rise, when you start to achieve, when you start to prosper, they feel threatened. And instead of using that as inspiration to grow as well, they use it as a reason to sabotage you, criticize you, belittle you. Perhaps you've been through this before. You achieve something wonderful, something you worked hard for, and when you go to tell that person you thought was your friend, the reaction is cold. Or it comes disguised as concern. Are you sure this is really what you want? Won't it be a lot of work? What if it goes wrong? Or even worse, it comes in the form of comparison. Oh, but so-and-so achieved this much faster than you. Or in the form of minimization. That's great, but that's kind of common, isn't it? Everyone's doing that these days. Each of those words is like a small stab wound. It hurts. Disappoints. It makes you question whether it was really worth sharing your joy. And over time you start to close yourself off. You start to keep your victories to yourself. You start to be afraid to shine around certain people because you know that instead of support, you'll receive envy disguised as care. But the universe doesn't want you to live like that. The universe doesn't want you to dim your light, so as not to overshadow anyone. The universe wants you to shine with all your intensity, to celebrate every achievement, to be proud of how far you've come. And for that, it needed to remove the people who couldn't handle your success. Because the truth is, those people weren't happy for you. They were unhappy with themselves. They were frustrated with their own lack of progress. And instead of using you as inspiration, as proof that it's also possible for them, they used you as a mirror of their own failure. And that's not fair to you, nor to them. Now that those people are out of the way, you will learn to celebrate your victories without fear. You will learn to share your joy without fear of being judged. And when the right people come into your life, you will feel the difference. You will see genuine joy in their eyes. You will hear true support from their words. And then you will understand why it was so important for the universe to do this cleansing. Reason 7. They kept you trapped in patterns of behavior that are no longer yours. Every time you're around certain people, you act in a specific way. Maybe you make jokes you no longer find funny. Maybe you agree with opinions that are no longer your own. Maybe you pretend to like things that no longer interest you. You do all this because that's how it's always been. It's the role you've always played in that group, in that relationship, in that dynamic. And even if you've changed inside, when you're around those people, you revert to who you were before. This is called a social mask. And everyone uses it to some extent. The problem is when you wear this mask so much that you start to forget who you really are underneath. When you spend so much time pretending to be someone you're not, your true essence becomes suffocated, hidden, repressed. And that makes you tired. That makes you frustrated. That makes you feel like you're living a lie. The universe realized you were trapped in this cycle. It realized that as long as certain people were in your life, you would never be able to be authentic. You would never be able to truly express yourself. You would never be able to show who you really are because these people have a crystallized image of you, an expectation of what you should be, and any deviation from that generates strangeness, generates resistance, generates conflict. So, the cosmos did what it had to do. It removed those people so that you would have the freedom to reinvent yourself. So that you could discover who you are without the pressure of meeting other people's expectations. So that you could experiment with new interests, new ways of expressing yourself, new versions of yourself without being judged, without being criticized, without being questioned. And that's liberating. It's scary at first because you've spent so much time being the version of yourself that people expected you to be that you don't even really know who you are when no one's watching. But it's precisely in that space of solitude that you find yourself. It's in that silence that you hear your own voice. It's in that emptiness that you discover what really matters to you. You'll realize you no longer need to please everyone. That you no longer need to fit into patterns that don't make sense to you. That you no longer need to live the life others expect you to live. You can simply be yourself. Authentic, true, without masks, without pretense. And when you start living like that, something magical happens. You attract people who love you exactly as you are. Not as you pretend to be. Not as you used to be. As you truly are. Reason 8. They were keeping you in a dangerous comfort zone. Comfort is pleasant. Comfort is safe. Comfort is predictable. But comfort is also the greatest enemy of growth. Because when you are too comfortable, you don't feel the need to change. You don't feel the urge to take risks. You don't feel motivated to seek something better. You simply stay where you are, repeating the same patterns, living the same days without evolving, without expanding, without realizing the potential that exists within you. And certain people in your life acted as cushions in that comfort zone. They kept you in that safe place where nothing too bad happened but nothing too good either. They gave you enough support so you wouldn't feel completely alone, but they didn't challenge you to grow. They accepted you as you were, but they didn't inspire you to be better. And deep down, this acceptance without challenge is a form of limitation. The universe knows you're capable of far more than you're showing. It knows you have hidden talents, dormant strengths, and endless possibilities waiting to be explored. But as long as you're surrounded by people who don't challenge you, who don't push you forward, who don't make you question whether you're truly giving your best, you'll remain stuck in that mediocre rut. That's why those people needed to leave. Not because they were bad people, but because their presence was keeping you small. It was keeping you complacent. It was preventing you from leaving your comfort zone and facing the world with all the courage you have within you. And the cosmos didn't create you to live a mediocre life. Created you for greatness, for abundance, for complete fulfillment. And that only happens when you are pushed out of your comfort zone. Now, without those people to accommodate you, you'll feel a healthy discomfort. You'll feel the need to act. You'll feel the need to seek more, do more, be more. This discomfort is the fuel for transformation. It's what will make you get out of bed with purpose. It's what will give you the courage to face your fears. It's what will motivate you to pursue your dreams with determination. Yes, it will be difficult. There will be times when you'll want to go back to your old comfort zone. There will be times when you'll miss those people who accepted you without demanding anything in return. But every time you feel that way, remember, comfort doesn't get you anywhere. Only discomfort, only challenge, only the courage to go beyond what is familiar will take you to the places you truly want to go. Reason 9. They did not share his deepest values. Values are the foundation of who you are. They are the principles that guide your decisions. They are the beliefs that define what is right and wrong for you. And when you associate with people who don't share these values, you live in constant conflict. Because every choice you make based on your values is questioned. Every action you take that is consistent with your principles is criticized. And little by little, you begin to doubt yourself. Perhaps you value honesty, and you were surrounded by people who lived on lies and omissions. Perhaps you value loyalty, and you were close to people who spoke ill of others behind their backs. Perhaps you value personal growth, and you were surrounded by people who only complained but never did anything to change. Perhaps you value compassion, and you lived with people who judged and criticized without mercy. This misalignment of values creates an invisible, but constant tension. You feel you can't fully be yourself. You feel you need to police yourself, control yourself, adapt. And over time this exhausts you. Because living against your own values is living against your own nature. It's betraying your essence. It's getting lost along the way trying to fit in where you don't belong. The universe saw this. It saw that you were compromising yourself, diminishing yourself, betraying yourself to maintain relationships with people who didn't honor what is sacred to you. And it decided that you deserve more. You deserve to be surrounded by people who share your values. People with whom you don't need to explain why certain things are important to you. People who simply understand because they feel the same way. So he removed those who weren't aligned. And now you have the opportunity to rebuild your social circle based on what truly matters. Not on convenience, not on shared history, not on obligation, but on genuine affinity, on shared values, on principles that align. And when you find those people, and you will feel a peace you've never felt before. You will be able to be completely authentic. You will be able to express your opinions without fear of judgment. You will be able to live according to your values without having to justify yourself. And that freedom, that inner coherence, is one of the greatest gifts the universe can give you. Reason 10. They represented lessons you've already learned. Taurus, every person who passes through your life brings a lesson. Some teach love. Others teach loss. Some teach trust. Others teach betrayal. Some teach generosity. Others teach boundaries. Every relationship, however brief or long, has an educational purpose. And when you learn the lesson that person came to teach, their presence is no longer necessary. The universe acts like a great teacher. It presents you with situations and people who will teach you what you need to learn at that moment in your journey. And if you don't learn the lesson the first time, it presents it to you again in different ways with different people until you finally understand. But when you truly learn, when you truly incorporate that lesson into your life, the universe no longer needs to teach you that. It can present you with the next level. And that's exactly what's happening now. The people leaving your life represent lessons you've already mastered. Maybe you learn not to sacrifice yourself for others. Maybe you learn to set boundaries. Maybe you learn to recognize when you're being manipulated. Maybe you learn that you don't need to prove your worth to anyone. Whatever the lesson, you've passed it. You understood it. You've evolved. So the cosmos is saying, congratulations, you've learned. Now let's move on to the next chapter. Let's move on to the next level. Let's move on to the next lessons. And these new lessons will come through new people. People who will challenge you in different ways. People who will teach you things you don't yet know. People who will take you to an even higher level of consciousness. But for that to happen, you need to let go of the old teachers. You need to thank them for what they taught you and let them go their own way while you go yours. Holding on to these people is like trying to repeat the same grade in school even though you've already passed it. It doesn't make sense. You already know that. You need to move on. And look how wonderful. When you look back and see the whole journey you've already traveled, all the lessons you've learned, all the people who have passed through your life and transformed you, you realize it wasn't in vain. Every pain had a purpose. Every loss brought a gain. Every person who left a lesson. And you are here today, stronger, wiser, more prepared for everything that is to come, precisely because of everything you have already been through. So don't be afraid of departures. Don't cling to what has already served its purpose. Give thanks, honor the memory, acknowledge the value, and let go. Because the universe has magnificent plans for you. And these plans include incredible people you will still meet. Transformative lessons you will still learn. Wonderful experiences you will still live. But only if you have space. Only if you are open. Only if you are willing to trust the process. So we've reached the end of this journey of understanding. And I sincerely hope you've understood the message the universe is sending you. The people who left your life didn't leave to make you suffer. They left to set you free. To prepare you. To take you to the next level of your evolution. And I know it might hurt now. I know it might seem unfair. I know you might be feeling alone, abandoned, lost. But I ask one thing of you: trust. Trust the universe. Trust the process. Trust that everything is happening exactly as it should. Because the cosmos doesn't make mistakes. It doesn't remove people from your life by accident. It doesn't create voids without a plan to fill them. It doesn't make you go through this cleansing without a reward waiting on the other side. And the reward is coming. Believe it. Incredible people are on their way. Wonderful opportunities are opening up. Enormous blessings are about to manifest. Everything you've been through, everything you've lost, everything you've let go of, is making room for a life so much better, so much more abundant, so much more aligned with who you truly are, that you will look back and be grateful for every goodbye. So lift your head, Taurus. Dry those tears. Take a deep breath. And get ready. because the best is yet to come. The universe didn't bring you here to abandon you. It brought you here to transform you. And when that transformation is complete, you will shine with an intensity you never imagined possible. Now I want to know from you. How many of these situations have you recognized in your own life? How many of these removals have you already experienced? And more importantly, are you able to trust the process, or are you still fighting against it? Leave your experience in the comments. Share your story. Because when you talk about what you're going through, you not only free yourself, but you also help other Taurus men and women who are experiencing the same thing. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, do it now. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any content. Because every week I bring messages like this, messages that the universe wants you to hear, messages that can completely transform the way you see your life. And if these words touched your heart, if you feel that this channel has made a difference in your spiritual journey, consider becoming a supporter. Your contribution allows me to continue creating this content for you. Thank you for staying until the end. Thank you for opening your heart to this message. And remember, you are not alone on this journey. The universe is with you. I am with you. And soon incredible people will be with you too. Until the next video.